Wajam. My name is Creelynn Miyuchishikintaau Shecapio. I am Eastern James Bay Cree from Iowishchi, which translates to the land of the people. In Iowishchi, there are 10 communities. My mother is from Chisasibi and my father is from Uchabugumu.
Thank you so much for joining me and for having this conversation about your craft. I think it's interesting to say that I found you on Facebook um, with a post on the post that Geneviève Etier did, and she was proudly wearing earrings that you beaded, and they were like stunning piece. And I was really impressed by
Thank
the
you.
work. I thought it was just gorgeous. I have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you, because when I saw your work and the quality of your work is it's quite impressive. And we talked prior to this conversation, and you told me your age, and it raised a lot of questions um that I really want to address, because I think your story is quite beautiful. Like the story of beading is of your art is really beautiful. So when did you started to bead?
I started beading when I was probably in elementary school. Every year we had about 2 weeks of Cree cultural classes, which would be outside of the community of Chisasibi. This camp was separated between the boys and the girls. So with the girls, our teacher would show us how to make little pouches or little mittens and little slippers, bracelets, or doll-sized dresses. So it was a very gratifying place to be around, and to even share that same knowledge was so much better to me. I was always excited to go back the next day and to continue the things that I just learned. And I think that was when I was first initiated to sewing. But not long after, my mother used to teach at the high school for about 2 weeks. There was this program that anyone was able to join, an evening of just beadwork and talking and just learning new techniques of beadwork. She taught me how to bead with or without a loom, the brick stitch, and just packing down the beads on felt, like what I do with my earrings now. I must have been just turning 7 or 8 years old at the time. So, yeah, that was when I first started beading.
I like that fact because opposed to me, you didn't had you grew up with your culture. And I think this is the part that I think it really like speak volume to me, is that at a very young age you learn that, and you still practicing that.
Mhm.
I think it's really great. What was the well what was the reason that compelled you to go on to pursue this? So you started at 7, so it's pretty early, but you kept on going. What was the reason for that?
Ever since I was a young girl, I enjoyed creating things, and I always used to make like little dolls, and I would make their little dresses. So already being intrigued with sewing or beadwork, it was also a responsibility for my aunts and grandmothers to teach me more of what they knew. And it was also a woman's role to sew and to make things for her family. Uh, since I am a mother to a 2-year old, I made his walking out ceremony me and my mom back in May.
Can you explain quickly what is a walk-in ceremony?
It's a ceremony for every Cree children to have their first steps on Mother Earth early in the morning. Usually it starts at sunrise, and the whole family gathers to experience their first steps on Earth. And it is usually celebrated with a feast. Whatever animal that child can provide for the family, example like a bear or moose, everyone will have a feast afterwards.
Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know what was a walking ceremony. I really I really appreciate you sharing that with me. Thank you. Going back to the beading, the learning process. You mentioned that it was your grandmother's responsibility to share that knowledge. How did it, what were like the emotion um when you learned that? What, because it's not just about like the physical beating, right? It's about like a state of mind. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Everything that I learned was passed down really through generation. So, especially embroidery, it was my great grandmother's talent that she passed on to my mother as a young age as well. And then my mother then passed it on to me. But I remember feeling like I would never get to the end of my work. I was such a perfectionist back then that I would even get a little frustrated with myself. But being so young, that was kind of normal, I guess, for me. That even today, I have so many unfinished pieces and I still find them every now and then. And it amazes me to actually see the progress from all these years with the patience that I have now. I am always so thankful to have stuck with this skill of beadwork and embroidery. And learning how to sew wasn't just about being able to create something, but also to be kind to myself and to be patient with yourself. And yeah, my state of mind when I bead, I always try to make sure that I am restrained, fully energized, and in a good mood. That way, when people wear my earrings, they feel good too. And it's the same things for my intention when I bead. I think of my best memories, of how grateful I am to have so many people that support my work, and especially constantly complimenting the pieces as I progress into it. I find it really helps to be genuinely proud of what you create. It's a sort of like a manifestation process that slowly becomes reality. And it's so important that you are not angry or sad or stressed or exhausted when I sew, especially because then it will just not work out. Like, for example, this one time I was sewing an ornament that I make, those embroidered ornaments. My thread just kept shredding and breaking. Eventually, I was like trying to stay calm, but I got really frustrated. Right then and there, I just knew that it was done. I had to just take a break and continue with my day with not sewing.
Okay, because the piece that you are creating carries the emotion and the
Yes.
intention in
Yeah.
them. I like that. I like the the patience that you gain through working with well through your craft. And I think it's it's one of the best lessons in life.
Mhm.
Well, a really important one.
Yes.
And it's difficult to practice patience on a day-to-day base, because we live in a world where everything is so fast.
Yeah.
So we kind of don't have time to actually stop and say, okay, this is, I need to practice this and I need to relax. And
Yeah.
so I really I really do have an appreciation for that.
Thank you.
um what can you tell us about the bond that you created um with the family member that taught you beading,
My
knowing that it's generational?
Well, I feel more closer to my mom
Okay.
because she was like my main teacher when I
Mm-hmm.
was younger. Even now, like she teaches me new tricks that she finds on social media or with one of her friends or an elder that she goes to visit, Like my great grandmother passed away already, so I couldn't really have that one on one contact with her while learning to sew. But as my embroidery gets better, I kind of feel that connection with her as well, even though she is not here. It's mainly my mother that I stick with, and we even sew together at the table. We talk to each other and just share stories.
Going back to the state of mind that you just mentioned, do you have a certain ritual or best practice to try to achieve that? Because I'm thinking, we all have our stressful day, we all have our challenges, and when you sit down and start, your work, do you do like something specific to help you to be in the right place for your craft?
That one I haven't really thought about, but I would say like I would continue on with my other hobbies that I really enjoy, such as cooking. So I would cook myself a meal to make sure that I am fully energized with my
Okay.
food.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm a bit too stressed and I need a little bath, then that's one thing.
The self-care. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us a little bit about the significance of the traditional material that you are using? For example, I've noticed on Geneviève Genevieve's earrings. They had porcupine
Yeah.
quills. And can you tell us a little bit about the significance?
Yes. I love porcupine quills so much. I find that they're so lovely even when I create them for my earrings. To me, that signifies like strength and sort of power, protection, and elegance. I respect the animal because it wouldn't have quills for no reason. Like the quills on its back are there to protect the animal from predators, and without them they would be too easy to get. And I've seen many porcupines in the wild. They're not the biggest animal out there. So to me, using their quills is my way of honoring the porcupine and just to have that respect with it as well.
I've noticed that you are using also moose hide. if I'm not mistaken. I believe I saw that in a
Yeah.
couple of your pieces. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I use a traditionally tanned moose hide for
Okay.
my earring. It's it's a very long process to achieve that level, not level, but to achieve the quality of that moose hide. And it's very highly valued to the Crees, especially because not only do we kill the animal for the meat, but we try to use every piece of it to really to make use of the whole animal. And I also just think like that moose hide looks so good on anything. It smells amazing. It just brings out that beauty, pops the beauty up.
It really does. It really does. As a mother, you just mentioned that you have a 2-year-old. As a mother, do you want to pass on your knowledge? And what is the importance of it if it's the case?
Yeah, being a mother has made me realize that I want my child and future children to be involved in our culture. My son has seen me and my mother pretty much from his birth to now. Um, and one day I would like him to try to sew, to see, to experience that it does take long to achieve something very, like, kind of very small. And it's not always easy to create things like that.
That's inspiring. I love the fact that, you know, there's a continuity in the culture and the craft. There's a lot of stories. There's like mine where there's this fracture with the culture. And what I really like about your story and your craft is that it didn't had like that didn't happen, and you got the chance to experience it and to learn it and to learn the teachings and really living it. So it I find that so beautiful. and and your craft is amazing. I honestly thought that when I saw the piece, I thought that it would have been, you know, someone much older than, than you, because just the quality of it, of your work. I say that because I experienced I had my first experience of beading in it was a poppy flower, and it's very challenging. It's very challenging. It's difficult. Yeah, I can see well, I struggled. So I really have like well, I have a better understanding of, you know, what it takes. But the whole, like, your story, I find it like almost soothing, because you were brought up, you know, and with that, and I just love that, and it reflects in your work. So you are at a very young age, and you know it reflects in your work, and you can actually see it and feel it. This kind of peaceful, I want to say peaceful, I think, yeah, that's it, peaceful. You can feel, you can see, and you know, feel the peace in the peacefulness in your craft. So that's something to achieve right there. It's not just pretty, but it's kind of suits the soul as well. I know when I'm looking at your Facebook or Instagram gallery, the work is gorgeous. It's so beautiful, and it brings, peace to my heart just to see that work. You're doing an amazing job, and I really thank you for sharing this.
Well, thank you for having me as well. It was a very it was a good experience to like be able to talk to you about my story and to share what I know about beading. And I hope you as well continue beading or try to bead eventually, you know.
Try. I'm in a stage of trying.
Yeah, it does take a lot of patience, and like me, I had to learn that.
So all to our viewers, I am going to tell you to take care of yourself, do a little self-care, take care of each other, and we'll see you around. Op nu Maltes.